everyone, welcome back to my channel, Travel with Nadej, and of course I am Nadej. Today we're going to be talking about an application. It's a travel application called TripScout. It's basically a trip planning, inspiration type of application, sort of like a Pinterest for your travel. A self-guided tour that you build based on what other people have said. Hey, TripScout, where is it? Here it is. TripScout. Alright, so as you can see here, I basically had already started a board called Marrakesh, and I put a fake date on there. So what you essentially can do is that you can search. They have an explore button here where you click your explore button and you can change your destination. I want to change my destination to Marrakesh. Type that in, Marrakesh, Morocco, and click that. And it's going to give me things to do. So it types out your sketch into basically different categories here. So the first category would be things to do, and then under things to do you can see that there are like 13 articles and 77 places. And then there's food, and then there's drinks, and then there's off the beaten path. I don't know what the heck that is. Coffee, learn, art and cultural, religious. So for example, under things to do, that means they have 13 articles, right, about things to do that are written geared towards things to do in Marrakesh. And then within all these articles, essentially there are 77 places that are mentioned throughout these 13 articles. So if you go ahead and you basically open up things to do, you see different articles that have been written by people, different bloggers and influencers. So I'll just go ahead and do the first one. 13 unmissable attractions and activities in Marrakesh, written by Time Out Marrakesh. Okay, click that. It opens up. My Wi-Fi is being a little slow here. Yes, okay. So here it is, the 13 best things to do in Marrakesh. And you can see who published it, when it was published. This was in 2008. So you can go ahead and read the entire article, right? So it's just someone has written things to do, right? 1, 2, whatever. So they've mentioned different places or locations in this article. And what essentially TripScout does is sort of scans the article and any places they had mentioned, and it has like saved places, right? So right here you can see that these are all the different places that were mentioned in this article. And so you can go ahead and save this to your itinerary. So for example, if I was reading this and I found that, oh, I would really want to go to Bahia Palace, right? I would save this, right? And when you save it, you can choose a trip. Maybe you are a traveler and you just go around traveling like crazy and you have 13 upcoming trips. You can choose a trip, and I'll choose Marrakesh, and it would save it under my Marrakesh board essentially. And I can go ahead and click on Bahia Palace, and it's like a sort of like a Google page. Like it tells you the about. You can see what this is about, what other people are saying about it. You can see that you saved it. You can add it to like your itinerary for things that you actually want to do when you get to Marrakesh, or you can mark it as a place that you have visited. So you can build an itinerary, right, when you go to Marrakesh, and as you go to these different places, you can mark it and say, I visited that place. So maybe the next time you're going to Marrakesh again 2 years later, you know that you went there and you don't have to sort of do the same thing. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Then, so you can basically read about it, right? And the cool thing I like about this is that when you click and open a certain place or location, it mentions other articles that have mentioned this place. So you can read about Bahia Place, whatever the place may be, Bahia Palace. Yeah, you can read about that particular destination from other people's point of views to actually, let you know whether or not it's someplace you want to invest your time doing when you travel abroad. Maybe it's not abroad. Yeah, so you can see what other people are saying about it. It's sort of like reviews, right? Like Yana says, a pretty quiet place, very relaxing, yay. And then you can see photos, which is what I love. If you are a travel blogger and it's all about that picturesque scenery, you want to see, is this place Instagram worthy? Can I take a $10,000 a post picture? You can go ahead and you can look at that. You see other people's pictures, right? You can see how other people took pictures. You can sort of plan in your head how you want to pose. Maybe you want to take a picture on this wall over here, blah blah blah. So it's really good. It's all in one. Let me go back. And you have let me go back. Alright. This iPhone is messing up. Okay, so you basically now, and then you have the location for where it is. In other locations, you can see the address and the phone number of the place also. And you can see that it's a historic site. And if you want to go ahead and read the other articles, 25 things you should know about Marrakesh, you can go ahead and click that article and read about what that person said about that. Same thing here. Okay, let me go back. Okay. So now here I am back to that first article, 13 things to do in Marrakesh. Royal, let me see. Le Jardin Majorel. It's that colonial master language I'm speaking now. Anyways, yeah. Majorel Gardens. Same thing. You can see what we're saying about it. And other articles I mentioned it, the pictures, and here it's just maybe depending on the popularity of the place. I'm not sure if it's the actual business person or the owner of the site that goes in and puts in the information, or it's TripScout that goes about finding the information and puts it in there. But they have like hours of operation, which I think is very useful. You get like if it's 3 p.m. and something closes at 4 p.m. and you want it to go, you know exactly what time it is. You can plan your day around the different business operation hours of these different sites. So they even have the website here, the phone number, the map location. So I think it's very, very useful. Now, if I were to now go back to my so you can let me go ahead and save a whole bunch of these things. Save, choose my trip, add it to Marrakesh. Save, choose my trip, add it to Marrakesh. And if I would now go to my trip itself, okay, now if I were to go back to sort of like my board, here as you can see I only have one trip planned. I would click that, and here I posted that I would be traveling in 58 days. This is not true. They have a map here that you can download offline and use, because you know where you're going you might not have a map, or I mean you might not have internet, so having that map is pretty good. So again, you can start exploring, which is basically what I showed you before. And here you would see these are different favorite things that I have. Some of them are from Singapore, as you can see, and some of them here are from Bahia Palace. So if I go to my planner, if I had added things to my itinerary, they would show up here. So let me sort of add something here. I'll go again back to the Bahia thing, and I will add it to my itinerary. And I would save it. I could choose what date I wanted to go on out of my trip, maybe on the 18th. Save that. Enter a start time. I wanted to go there at 10:55 a.m. and be back by 12:55, 11:55 p.m. Save that. So I could build out every single day of your trip. You can build out an itinerary. So day 1, September 12th, you would put in exactly what places you wanted to visit and the time in which you wanted to visit them, and it would remind you, and you could see, you could effectively plan your day. You know how sometimes you travel and you want to do all these different things, but then you end up wasting so much time at one place, and then you don't have time to do the others, and then you're running out of time, and then next thing you know, your trip is over and you have to come back home. So I think this helps you. It's very organized, and it allows you to, plan effectively. Overall, I really like this application. I think it's very useful. It's a game changer. I haven't seen anything like it. Maybe I'm just not that versed in travel applications, but I think it's useful. If you're looking for something to really help you plan day by day, hour by hour, what to do, I think it would be exceptional. If you're trying to maximize your time at a particular location, this is great. Because sometimes you just forget. You can write things down in a note, but you just forget. Then you have to, where is this, where is that? The address is right there, the information is right there, right, all in one. So I really appreciate that. Now, the only thing I would say about the app that I really don't like is the fact that they don't have a whole bunch of locations available yet on the app. So for example, if you go out and type in Yaoundé, Cameroon, which is, I'm from Cameroon, it's a Central West African country. I tried to search out Yaoundé, nothing on there. I searched out Lagos, and it's crazy. These very weird things would show up. It's not that effective as, a popular location. I think more like Western locations and very popular, Asian countries are very popular for travel. So you would be able to see a lot of information about Bali and all these other places in Asia. Singapore, amazing. A lot of articles, a lot of information on Singapore. Obviously New York, the Western world, amazing. But I think for places like African travel, I'm not particularly sure that they have all that much information. So let me change my destination just to sort of show you guys. If I want to explore and change my destination to say Douala, Cameroon, you can see Cameroon pops up here, but when I actually go ahead and select Cameroon, you have a few things. There's no articles, right? So for example, I have Black and White Lounge. It's a lot of nightclubs and restaurants. I don't know if this is official, again, I mentioned this earlier. I'm not sure if TripScout is curating the information that gets placed on here, or any business can go ahead and lock themselves into this as something, right? So if I have here Saga Africa, African restaurant, it's kind of iffy. So let me type in, open up Black and White, which is a lounge and cocktail bar. So there's one person that has been here. So you have 10 photos of people's beers You don't really have any information on location. There's no articles. I know there are a whole bunch of like bloggers, you know, like Spirited Pursuit. She's a Cameroonian blogger, Cameroonian American blogger who travel around Africa. So I guess they could, you know, do better with that and curating more information about other parts of the world. Okay, let me type in, say, like Nairobi. Nairobi is a popular, you know, African city. Let's see what they have on Nairobi. Again, not a lot of articles, just things I can find on Google, right? Like hotels and restaurants, basically. That's all you have. You don't have actual like things to do in Nairobi, things to do in Douala. There's nothing about that. Not like a lot of people travel to Nairobi. A lot of people. I can excuse the whole Douala thing. Cameroon is not the most popular country in the world, but Nairobi, that's a pretty popular, you know, city. Kenya is pretty popular when it comes to the African continent. Let's say Lagos. Lagos, Nigeria. Again, no articles. So you can see all we have are like gyms and stuff. Like you saw when I went to, it's just a restaurant, right? So again, there aren't like any like articles about a lot of African countries. So I would say maybe it's with time, the more they grow, again, depending on how they curate stuff, they can definitely partner with other African bloggers or bloggers who travel around Africa and who I know have written amazing articles about that. So that would be good, because, you know, African traveling within the African continent is definitely something that I am interested in, and it would be nice to be able to utilize this, because navigating through a lot of African countries is very complex. It's not the most straightforward thing. So I think if TripScout were able to make such a complex travel less complicated, that would definitely be a plus in my book. So yeah, that's basically all I have regarding TripScout. Overall, thumbs up. I would give this out of a 5-star. This application usability is really good. It's the UI and all of that is nice, user friendly. It's easy to navigate. It's easy to understand. Like, I don't have to go about reading a user guide on how to use TripScout in order to use it. The moment I downloaded the app, it's very conceptual, you know, choose a trip, explore, search articles, save. It's just all very easy to navigate. So I would definitely say the usability of it is great. I would give that a 5 out of 5 star. And overall for the application, I would give it a 4 out of 5 star. Again, my only complaint here would be to increase their scope and availability of content for different locations, particularly the African continent itself, because I know people do travel to the African continent in different countries, and people do write about it. So if they can curate that information into their app, it would be a 5 out of 5 for me. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Definitely go ahead, download the app, use it. Let me know what you think. If you've actually already used TripScout before, what did you like about it? And yeah, I will try to review another application, any travel application, and just, you know, share that with you guys. Thank you for watching this video if you made it to the end. Subscribe to my channel if you so wish. I will definitely try again. Yeah, my content will be geared towards travel, basically travel and more travels, and I hope that you will stick around to see what I have in store. It's going to be great. If you're a TripScout developer owner, good job.